I think about a game and I'm like, okay, if it's $70 and I'm only playing for 7 hours, is this game worth $10 an hour? No way. That dollar per hour rate to be insane. So that way I know when I played this game with Black Ops 7, I've still put in time on this. It would be a different story if, yeah, you only played for 10 hours and thinking, yeah, was that 10 hours of gameplay worth the $70? For me, there's like no game, unless it's the most linear game of all time. And even 10 hours for a $70 game, it's not enough.
Welcome everyone to episode 277 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well. It's a nice day today. The weather was terrible this morning. Now it's nice. We were just talking about feeling old and
Nostalgia.
And nostalgia. Yeah, we were talking about our just our concept of time now has gone on quite a bit because I mentioned some things regarding Call of Duty, which we'll get to, that just makes us realize that was a really, really long time ago. And then even with college, thinking that like we're the 2020 graduates, and that still doesn't seem that long ago. But now when I think about it being 6 years, it's getting long. Like it's going to be 10 years pretty soon here. And it's scary. It's scary. We're getting fucking old, dude.
Yeah. I mean, once I hit, even now, it's not like 6 years was a long time ago.
Yes.
When it hits 10, we have to stop saying, it wasn't that long ago. 10's long.
Yeah. It's even when I think about like cars being old, when someone's like, oh, it's a 2014, I'm like, that's not that bad. But then actually thinking about it being a 12-year-old car, I start to, I don't know. It's weird. The concept of like being something in 2020s to me is still so recent, but thinking back to when it was, 2012 or so. And if you mentioned something in 2005, that was like an eon ago,
Yeah.
But I think for us, it's because we're now like mature and grown up in this time that we really don't have like a concept of it. Like year to year, it's just like, oh yeah, we're more or less doing the same things, or just kind of elevating slightly. We're not having these huge life changes like finishing high school or college or getting our first job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right, if you think about it, the 2000s for us is like our parents' 80s, and the 2010s for us is like the 90s for them, which that's crazy to like even think about, because that means all that stuff is like throwbacks.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Dude, the craziest thing, or something that just, it trips me out, is Ed Hardy. This clothing brand has like come back. Everyone at school wears this stuff and they all think that it's some new brand. And I can't even comprehend that. I can't wait for the stuff. Like I saw the what was it, the I Love Boobies bracelet. The kids are wearing that. I'm like, get the fuck out. Like,
the silly bands are gonna come back.
Oh yeah. I was like, dude, we used to wear that. Like kids all the time at our school when I was in middle school were wearing that. And they're like, shut up. No, I'm like, yeah, dude, that's nothing new. Like you think you're tough because you're wearing that, don't you? It's so wild to now witness these trends and things that we maybe grew up with, and now they're coming back again. And that's the style, people wearing DCs and wearing like big skate shoes. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. And on top of that, like the Ed Hardy stuff, do you know how much money they're charging for all this stuff now? Dude, it's insane. You're paying out the wazoo for like this stuff, when back in the day, it was not as expensive. It definitely was not. And it's nuts seeing people go back and buying like vintage clothes. Like, okay, yeah, these vintage like t-shirts and clothes and stuff. I'm like, how much are you paying? Over $100 for like a t-shirt?
Oh, dude, I went through this for like a little bit where I wanted to get some of the old skateboarding shoes that I had and me and my brother had. And I was going to get him a pair that he used to have when we were like 10, 13 years old or something like that. First off, finding it was insane. And then the guy who had him, I mean, I don't even remember the guy's name, but I hate this guy because he had him for $400. I was like, dog, this shoe was like $50 back in the day. What are you talking about? And he would not budge. I'm like, dude, could you do, I thought I'm crazy now. I'm like, can you do 200? He's like, hell no, no chance. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
these shoes are worthless, bro. Like, I just walk away. I'm like, yeah, I want them, dude, but come on. Like, people will pay for the nostalgia, you know,
Oh, yeah.
like skateboarding, like shirts or boards or anything like that. It used to be like, you know, normally priced 40, $50. Now this
Mhm.
stuff you pay hundreds of dollars because they just throw vintage in front of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the lesson is just hoard everything you have right now because eventually in 20 more years, it's gonna come back, and then you can resell it and call it
Yeah,
vintage.
yeah.
So, I mean, I would have never thought people would be going back and buying, the box TVs again. People are buying those things
Oh,
for
yeah,
hundreds of dollars. I'm like,
yeah.
you can go buy a flat screen cheaper than one of those now because people are itching for um, the old, like, nostalgic feeling of, coming back home from school and, like, sitting down and watching cartoons, where you can do that now just on a nicer screen, but people want that shitty screen.
Yeah, but dude, it just doesn't hit the same, you
Oh,
know?
no, it doesn't. 'Cause the time we grew out of that time, it will never hit the same ever again,
I
which is
see
sad, but
I see the reels all the time where people be like, "Did you I feel like days were different when we were kids, you know, or this
mhm,
color of the sky or whatever. You just don't see this anymore." And
mhm,
I get where they're coming from, but yeah, it
mhm,
was just your perception of things was so different. You know, now I don't even think about that stuff just because you've got so many responsibilities and things that are going on. And we're also just, you know, we're way older. So when I go and play, like I'm kind of victim to that. I got it like in my corner here by uh, my nightstand, my PSP,
mhm.
and I had that when it came out and loved it. Now when I play it, I still like it. It's fun.
Mhm.
But it's not the same experience,
No,
you know?
yeah,
You
that's what
just
I'm
can't
saying, it's
quite recapture it. It's like, dude, now when I play and then I'm like, damn, dude, my thumb be bothering me, bro. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
how the hell did I do this when I was a kid? Damn, like I had smaller hands for sure.
Yeah, and you're just not thinking about, you have a PS5 now. It's a I, like, I have a little emulator where I just play, like, Game Boy games, but then, I'll sit down. I could grind for hours on my Game Boy back in the day. Now I just get bored of this and I just wanna hop on PlayStation instead to play another game where
Yeah, I get
bigger
into those.
screen, it's clearer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's everything is so much better now when it comes to gaming in that aspect of like the experience. Some of those games, like we've said before, I wish they would just bring them back and modernize them so that you could play them. But like the past couple of days, we were playing Split Fiction. I mean,
Mhm.
man, to me, that experience is just like going back to what we used to do. You know,
Yeah.
we'd sit down and play together and just have a game going on that we don't know and are just experiencing it for the first time. You could definitely still get that feeling. At least I know I do from certain games. It gets harder and harder, but I think that's because some of the game quality has just declined over the years. You know, not necessarily my expectations of a game. You know, it's like a lot of the games that we played, all the games on Nintendo or the early PS2, 3 games, there's so many good games there compared to now.
Mhm. Yeah, we're never gonna get that time back. Yeah, the
No.
the the time's just gone, but I will say back in the day, there was more color to life, like, literally more color, because I would see pictures and reels of just going to the mall, and everything just had color, like, the cars were colorful, people had blue, red, yellow, whatever, wild colored cars in the mall, like, everyone's walking around decorated, like, now everything's just monotone colors, black, white, gray, and, like, I understand because it's clean, but you literally or we've just lost a color in the world.
Dude, you think about like the classics that they always talk about, like McDonald's, for example,
Mhm,
how all those buildings used to look so cool and they had all this, you know, like they would have the play like fun house or whatever in there and all the
mhm,
decor, like to your point, was all colored. But then they show the ones now and they're just these super sleek, modern,
sleek, yeah,
everything's angular and gray and
mhm,
white tile to make it look like it's clean and like higher priced. But yeah, at the cost of we've lost the color. And now I see these places. I think it was Pizza Hut or something was doing some throwback or promotion thing for
Mhm.
Toy Story 5, and they're having it look like that pizza chain that's in the movie, and
Mhm.
everyone's like, "Bro, we should just go back to this. Like, this is such
Yeah.
a cool, it's inviting, it looks
Mhm.
cool, it's fun, colorful." And yeah, I wish more places would go back to that because that was like a trend, the sleek design stuff, but now I think people they want the nostalgia.
Yeah. I think people are just getting tired of the modern minimalist,
Yeah.
sleek look. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of that style too. And time to time, I like both, but sometimes, yeah, you will you'll walk outside, go into a building or whatever, and you just look at everything. It's just sterile.
Yeah.
Like, do people even do anything in here,
It's got
or
no
is it just
personality.
yeah? There's just nothing, literally nothing, and that's a
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, it's sad to see how it went. And it's even the thing that was cool for me too is going back and looking like shifting to some game stuff is seeing how trailers used to look and how trailers used to be. Like I watched the old World at War trailer and Modern Warfare 2 trailers and seeing how not just graphically of course but seeing those compared to what they have now for game trailers, man, those were same thing, those were so different. Like it just had a different vibe to it. You could tell that their strategy behind trying to market this to people was just way different.
Mhm.
um and I like both now. I think like from the Modern Warfare 4 trailer that we had, it was really good. It was kind of a lot closer to what we used to have there. But yeah, there was a shift there as well where they had a certain thought process and were like, "Ah, I don't know if the fans really like resonate with this kind of style of trailer." You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and I that must be so hard to figure out. Obviously, for Call of
Yeah.
Duty, clearly, but you also got to make a good game.
Yeah.
But the I feel like back in the day, gaming when they released a trailer based on the actual gameplay and the game itself. Versus now, they're releasing trailers where they're not even telling a story. It's just movie cutscenes, and they're probably thinking, um, okay, a bunch of these gamers, right? Their attention span isn't as good anymore compared to back in the day. So how do we capture them here? And I feel like with MW4, that trailer, a lot of people have been hyped about it, and it's nice to see people actually giving this trailer praise. But again, I just want to see multiplayer at this point, and the style of this trailer reminds me of old ones back in the day, like just going back to the actual story. And this is a war game at the end of the day, so bring that story to life again.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That I'm glad too that the trailer has hit with people and has resonated a bit. And yeah, I think because they know that there's going to be a lot of competition here going on with other games, mainly with Grand Theft Auto coming out, and they really need to listen to people and they really need to capture people's attention. Um, so making a game that, like we had said, it was about 90% gameplay. People already are invested in this because you can already kind of see what you're going to be getting. You know, not entirely, but it's a hell of a lot better than just these pre-rendered cutscenes that, yeah, they look great, but it really doesn't say anything about the game. And we've seen that time and time again where they go and do that and people leave the trailer just being like, okay, it looks interesting, but there's no actual gameplay here. There's really nothing of substance. You leave not knowing what this Call of Duty is about. And with the first trailer that we had, you definitely left it having a good idea what they're going to be trying to tell you in the story. So it was a nice change of pace, and that's where it's good. They went back to what they used to do.
Yeah, and on top of the trailer, last episode we obviously talked about the trailer, but since then a couple things have come out for MW4. One, yeah, Tac Sprint is in the game. I know last episode I said it might not be, and it was just a perk. No, it's definitely in the game now, which I hate Tac Sprint.
Hate
Everybody
it.
knows that. But I don't know if you saw the leaked video of the movement. It
Mhm.
looks buttery smooth, which if they took the Tac Sprint away, it will look even smoother. But they had motion blur on, obviously, so it looked kind of insane when they're just running through. But it looks really smooth, and I know it was a very choppy video, and it still looks smooth. But I'm excited to see how that is like in action for the beta, or if they do a you know COD next with creators.
Dude, whenever they do these like gameplay, not that wasn't really a trailer, but whenever you see gameplay of it from these guys, it always trips me out that they use motion blur on it. Cause dude, that's the first thing that I would ever turn
Mhm.
off. And it makes the game look so weird. So yeah, you
Mhm.
kind of get this sense of like they're flying from it. And but it does distort the game a
Mhm.
little bit.
And you know what's crazy is that most people that just pick up and play COD have motion blur on because it's a default setting.
It's crazy.
And yeah, but to us it's crazy. But all my friends that don't play COD and they literally play super casually, they all have motion blur on. And every time I've sat down and played on their TV or whatever, I'm thinking, what is this? I have to go and again adjust all my settings, make sure everything's perfect, and they're thinking in their head, I thought you were good. I'm like, I'm good. I promise. I just need to tweak all these settings.
Yeah.
It needs to
Like
be personalized to me.
I'm helping you out, bro. You don't need
Yeah,
all this.
exactly. Yeah.
I wouldn't
And then
mind motion blur on, like, campaign at the
no,
beginning,
yeah,
but
yeah, because
multiplayer?
you're immersed, and I think in campaign that's how the developer intended you to play it with
Yeah.
that motion blur because it's default, right? But when you turn motion blur off, a lot of my friends they've said this looks so bad. Or like, why is everything rendered down? I'm like, that's the point. So you so you don't need to deal with this like motion sickness when you're running through, and you can actually see people off the corner of your eye.
Yeah, it's definitely a handicap if you have it on. So
Oh yeah,
whenever they
100%.
show this stuff for multiplayer and they have it on, I'm just like, bro, the people who actually take multiplayer seriously, I would imagine that most people take that off instantly. Um, so it always takes me a minute to adjust with that. But yeah, I
Mhm,
agree. It did look really good. Just like from the offset, it doesn't look as slow as MW 2019. But it looks like it's a little bit faster. So probably like a blend, I believe they were saying, of MW2 to 2019.
mhm,
I could be wrong about that, but I think that's where they were trying to find the sweet spot is between 2019 and then either two or three for the movement. The main thing that we did get to see was like the climbing up pipes and like
that
being able to
was
mantle over.
interesting.
Yeah, what you
Yeah.
think about that?
I mean, they're not gonna have pipes everywhere, right, on every building, but because I saw some people saying that this is gonna be abused all the time, but in my head, that's just another jump spot, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna spawn into a map after playing it a handful of times, you just know that, "Oh, you can jump onto this spot and get over here." Uh, I don't think people will be caught off by surprise in the first like a week. They probably will because the game's new. But after that, you're gonna know. Oh, there's a pipe there. Someone might jump up, and you're not gonna expect the dying from there, or you're gonna expect dying from there or whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna be a new mechanic. I saw some people in our Discord that were talking about it, saying, more or less what we are right now, that, it's a cool thing. I think we talked about this last episode, that it's got some, cool concepts to it. I like it. I'm not really one to hate on people trying to advance on the movement. If there's more things that you can interact with and have in the environment, I'm usually fine for that, unless it's like destructible walls or like being able to jump on roofs. I think stuff like that makes it a bit too crazy. Um, but yeah, I'm for it. I think it's going to take time to see obviously how it actually plays in the game, but I could see people being able to finesse big time on that. If there's a way
Mhm.
that you could jump up on it, on like say a pipe, for example, and then jump off and be able to move a certain way, that would not surprise me if it comes into something where it could be like, not like slide canceling, but it could be some sort of movement diff like that. That if you're in a situation and there is a pipe that's just like, or
Mhm.
I don't know, some street lamp or something, if you're able to climb those, and you could just jump off and jump on really
Mhm.
quick. I think that would be cool if it became something that people could kind of break a little bit or have it break the game. But
Mhm.
that would be pretty tough to actually do.
Yeah,
I can
because
imagine logistically.
I'm just looking at as a pipe is just another ladder. I mean, people aren't really abusing the ladders in games. They're using it to get to the next spot. The abusing piece that I think is going to be, you know, I guess a I don't know, a pro for players like Shotzi and like Neptune, all the fast players, is the movement where you can in the video the guy's like running up to a car and you can tell he didn't hit, mantle. He just auto mantled and slid right over the car and just did that twice.
Yeah.
Where it makes it look super smooth, but I wonder if that's just going to be on all, cars and things like that. Because I know now you can slide and immediately hop into a mantle. Like there is no break and you can
Yeah.
slide on rails and stuff. So it will make it smoother, but I think that's where breaking the game will happen.
Yeah, I would agree too. That's probably going to be a spot where you may see it more often than with pipes. Um, and yeah, can you like cancel out of that when you're like in that animation? Are you able to like move off to the side or something? Any way that you could try to break that? Um, yeah, that would definitely be a big part of it. My whole
And
thing with all this stuff too, really quick, is just I don't know how prevalent it's going to be in the gameplay. Like, are you going to be using that on every map, or is it really going to be something that like Omni movement, yeah, you can utilize it to its full potential, but you could be just fine without it.
yeah, and I feel like we have this conversation every year with like the new thing that they're adding with COD. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I mean, Black Ops 7, we have the wall jump, and obviously it can definitely be abused. We've seen people abuse it,
Mhm.
but a mechanic like this where you're climbing pipes or whatever, you're still boots on the ground. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. The mantling and the finessing, I think that will be a bigger deal, but I don't think that's anything that people can't adjust to. You know what I mean? The wall jump is way more of a like skill diff to most people than like this. But what I was gonna say was I saw people are saying that, this is it kind of looks like an MW3 that's quicker. And then people got into the argument of, is MW3 like a good game or whatever? And pros were talking about it too. And, you know, I thought MW3 was a pretty decent COD. The maps were just horrible. Like I think if you take MW3 and that movement, I didn't mind it, even with the tac sprint. Still hate it. But if you take that COD and just put it on a different COD with different maps, people would like that. It would, be a pretty good COD. Where I think that's a perfect example of the movement will be good, the mechanics are good, the gameplay is good, but the maps we played, 10 years ago, and nostalgia hit for the first week and everybody got bored, and those maps just didn't work for that game. So you need new maps. So I really hope, down the line, I know in MW4 they're not, they're launching with 12 new maps, so that's good, but we just need new maps and the maps have to be good.
Yeah, that that is always going to be one of those important tenets of any Call of Duty game. And I would also say that yeah, MW3 in the grand scheme of games that we've had in this, post Black Ops 4 era, I would put it up there for sure. I would say Cold War is still the best, and then probably MW3 and Black Ops 7, maybe hot take. That's probably in my top three. I'd have to go back, but yeah, MW3 was for sure the best of like from Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3, which is just like how it was in the original years, in my opinion. I thought that was
Mm.
the best one too. Because they just had it refined enough. They had every box that was checked in the other games, they just kept it going, and then what they needed to tweak, they did. And MW3 was great for that. But yeah, they tried way too hard, capping on the nostalgia, and it backfired on them totally. Because the main thing I ever hear with that game is people are like, dude, if 6 star, well, if we had maps like that, because Six
Mhm.
Star is a great map from that game. If they just did that, but
Mhm.
they did that 12 times, then that would be probably one of the best CODs. I mean, it would probably rival Cold War, honestly.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and that kind of gives me hope for this time around because yeah, 12 maps. There are a lot of people that were complaining about that. Um, it's only 12 and not more than that. But if we're getting 12 new maps, uh, I'll take it.
Mhm.
I'm fine with that. If it was 6 and 6 for new and remaster, and I don't want the remasters until seasons come out. And give me one or two. Don't
Mhm.
don't flood my lobby with like all the old maps again. I don't want it. I want the new stuff.
Yeah, right. And let's hope that 8 out of those 12 maps are good maps. And out of those 8 maps, let's hope 4 are great maps. I think that's reasonable to say and a reasonable request for everybody.
Yeah, we've seen some stuff on the like. I think there's a couple of leaks from the maps. You seen those at all?
Yeah, yeah.
You can't really gather
You
anything
can't
from it though.
yeah. You can't gather I think you can't gather anything until you get hands-on gameplay. We have to play it to really form our opinion. And you can talk about it, but I don't think it really does anything until you've actually played the game and you have gameplay of it.
Yeah, because people see it and then I see all these comments that are already forming opinions on it. And to me, I don't really care how a map looks. To your point, I just want to hear from people who are good. I want to hear them say how it plays, or obviously myself, I just want to play it and get an idea of it. Um, but now that's going to be a big thing for them. And yeah, how they work the movement in on those maps is a question still to be answered. I don't know how they're really going to do it. If it's just going to be something that, again, is pretty small, because a lot of these changes that they're making, minus Tac Sprint, I don't really think they're going to be game changing. I mean, they aren't game changing unless people go and learn how to exploit them. But yeah, it's not, for example, like wall jumping, and that's a
Mhm.
huge difference to the game for most people. And yeah, it's definitely a skill gap. Like if you can do that well in gunfights, that is a huge advantage because I mean, you're just going to finesse that person every
Mhm.
time, unless they're like really good. But with this stuff, from what they're showing, I don't think it's gonna have anywhere near the same level of impact.
Yeah, I really think this game's gonna be heavy iron, uh, iron, and make sure you know, you're ADSing,
Yeah.
which I'm fine with being boots on the ground. I mean, whatever. But yeah, and then on top of that, we saw a release of the UI design, the creator class, and it looks good because it doesn't look complicated,
Yeah.
which people were asking for. Where obviously you and I have talked about the gunsmith. I think the gunsmith is still there. It's just reformatted differently in the UI, but this makes it look so much easier. Like you know where to create your class, you just know where to join a game, you know where to invite your friends. You're not just confused in this whole UI. So I'm happy about that. It only took them what, like a decade to figure out that actually no, since 2019 for them to figure out this isn't the right move. We should just go back to what it used to be.
Yeah, it's back to being, intuitive, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
they're taking a lot of things from the original MW3, There was a lot of lessons to be
Yeah.
learned
Yeah.
with that game, and just those games in general. Yeah, we said it before, there's no reason to fix that stuff if it's not broken. Um, and I don't know, I do feel that and this could just be tinfoil hat stuff, but but not really though. I think a lot of the transparency that we've seen from IW so far, and a lot of these moves that they're making, minus the tax sprint one, I think it's really because they're feeling the pressure this time around with the game. People were really spent on Black Ops 7. They know it. Everybody knows it. And they just can't afford to do that this year, especially with GTA coming out, and it's going to be such a huge year for them. Um, I think they're really trying to make sure that some of these things that they've been a little hesitant on, like going back to what actually was good, not like trying to totally nostalgia bait us with old maps and stuff, but just basic common sense stuff that made the game easier to play and intuitive, like the create a class. Um, I think they're starting to make those moves a little bit quicker because yeah, we've been asking for it for since 2019 now. I mean, that's yeah, 7 years. And some of
Mhm.
that stuff hasn't really been the same since, for 13 years or more.
Yeah. So would you say, IW's on their last stand at this point?
I don't know. I think they're really trying to make a move here to recapture some of the glory that they used to have. Because Treyarch dropped the ball this year in a lot of people's eyes. And I
Mhm.
would too. I'd say that this is definitely uncharacteristic of them, where they made a game that, yeah, we say it's good, but is it the same level that I would expect from them? No.
I
You know.
think, yeah, to that point, because obviously the sales, you know, show how good this game did, and didn't do that well. It was the least sold COD in history, and I think there's more into that too. I think it was just year after year, COD has just been great, and so Treyarch just had to deal with the repercussions, but also it didn't help them releasing Black Ops 6. And we're not in those meetings, right? But I'm still on the conspiracy theory that Black Ops 6 was not the game that they wanted to put out, and they had to put something out, and it should have been Black Ops 7, but they put Black Ops 6 out.
Mhm.
And everybody, you know, didn't like Black Ops 6. And Black Ops 7 came out, people were just tired of it already at that point because it was BO6 2.0. Again, from MW2 to MW3. So unless, you can prove me wrong, I think that's my theory. That someone was like, you need to just put a game out. And it can't be this game. We just gotta put something out.
Yeah, I think that's more than likely been confirmed probably from the development of like they're not allowed to do that or they're not going to be doing the, back to back releases.
Mhm.
Because I think
Well,
that's what
they haven't fully said it. That's the thing. Like the
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I would like to hear confirmation that yeah, we finished a game. Well, finished a game, and we released that version out, and then we're gonna clean it up the next year to put out the full version of the game. See, that
You
sounds worse.
they'll never admit that.
Oh no, they never will. But I mean, any of these creators that get to go to COD Next and stuff, I wonder how they feel about it. I mean, I know Tyler's talked about it before that he doesn't think BO6 is the game that Treyarch really wanted to put out, and I just think if Black Ops 7 came out last year instead, that was the first COD, it'd be a bit different.
Yeah.
And I think to your point with the pressure that IW feels, I mean, it sucks that it took this long for them to feel this pressure. They're definitely feeling the pressure because the bottom line, they're looking at this and they're thinking, oh shit, we got to figure this out because we can't repeat again what just happened. We can't be the least selling COD again or least so COD again,
Yeah.
breaking records back to back years.
Yeah, and I think, when they see that and they realize what they put these studios through to have to try to do something like that, they see how they got directly affected, When they start losing money because of it, and I'm sure there were people, at Treyarch and these studios that are like, "Yeah, you idiot. Like, do you
Mhm,
think we have the time and resources to be able to pull these off successfully like that? It's never been this way. Why do you all of a sudden think that it's going to work?" And then they go and they show what happened.
mhm,
Um, yeah, I think if you're a smart person, you could probably put two and two together that more than likely the results of what they had in the past couple of years influenced them to not do that. You know,
mhm. Yeah, I
um,
mean, 1 year, you know, 1 year's bad. If you go 2 years in a row and you break Black Ops 7 record of the least sold CODs, that's not good at
yeah,
all. That's just not good for the franchise in general.
no,
That everybody that's a COD fan is gonna be a bit worried. You can't have 2 years in a row like that.
yeah, and that's why I say that. IW, I'm sure, is, not say feeling the pressure, but, realizing that this game does have a lot of weight to it,
Mhm.
because of the bad years that we've had. And it's coming from a studio that we've always put our faith into. And you could tell that they, had a AI generated campaign. The use of AI and lack of like artistic directive in the game was lacking. I mean, there were just so many problems, and that's coming from the ones that we always love.
Mhm.
So now with Infinity Ward, who people have not really like enjoyed their games as of late, um, they've really got to step up. And I think going back on some of the things that, like, hey, we don't need to go and do another custom class overhaul. We don't need to do that. They just want the standard basic stuff. So why don't we just do what we did back in the day? I was saying to you before too that I saw today theater modes coming back, and that's the first time they've done it since our MW3 in 2011, which I'm just like, how the fuck have you gone 15 years without like why did stuff like that ever go away? Nobody there was not a person who's played Call of Duty that has ever complained about theater mode. And if they have, find me them. Like there's no reason that that shouldn't be an option to have in the game. So when they put that in and people see it, I mean, I already saw people announcing being like, dude, finally, like massive W, like what a relief. I don't know if they're all bots that are saying that, but I would say that too. It's a good thing to put that in there. Why not?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Well, and on top of that, the menu, right? Nothing was broken on that. If they kept the same exact layout and then added, some artistic flair to it, if they really wanted to, fine. But then you can spend the rest of your time focusing on the maps in the game itself. Why do you need to spend so much time on the UI design when it was working before? I get you have to innovate going into the next game, but you can just add little things to it. You don't need to do a complete overhaul of it and then make your player base learn a whole new menu system that's complicated, and they obviously don't like it for since 2019,
Mhm.
and now we're going back to what it was before, where you go over to the right, create a class. That's it.
Yeah, it's the stuff that people have always, connected with Call of Duty. It's just been the staple thing. Um, and I remember even with Black Ops 6 and probably the CODs before that, I think maybe a little bit of Black Ops 7, I kind of forget. Um, with a lot of the collaborations that they would do for these like in-season things.
Mhm.
Um, I saw that they made an announcement saying that they're not going to be doing no Nicki Minaj. They're not going to be doing these crazy collabs that have no roots or no relation to Call of Duty. Um, and that's once again trying to kind of capture that tone that that game had back in the day. Like I beat MW2's campaign on Friday, I think, and I went and played a game of online on there. I mean, bro, you just hit play online and it's all that you have for any like PR is just in the bottom right where it's like message of the day, and it just
Mhm.
says like, "Hey, check out the new, check out IW." And you're like, "All right." Like that it was the game. There was no like extra stuff. They weren't trying to sell you any crazy bundle. It was just that one thing in the corner. It was so bare bones. Um and that was a good thing to keep bare bones. And
Mhm.
they're starting to kind of go back to that and not be like, "Hey, yeah, even though there are people who buy these stupid skins, it's really not doing a lot for the image of Call of Duty that people want to have and want to see the game as." You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like ads. That's all it is. It's just a
Yeah.
bunch of ads in a video game that we paid for.
Mhm.
And we I see it as another fee to get rid of the ads. I mean, I
Yeah.
know you're getting something out of it, but you already paid money for this game. I don't need to see more ads just all over the game. Just let me load into the game and play it.
Dude, is there any game that you can load into nowadays where, yeah, you're not bombarded with ads for something? It's like, oh, you want to pre-order the next game? Hey, the DLC came
Mhm.
out. Oh, if you go and spend all these points, like, dude, just let me fucking play the game.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. My guess is there aren't that many, but it's probably a single player game at the least amount of ads. But even the single player games, you'll load into the game itself, and before you even get to the start game menu or play menu, it'll show usually other games that this developer has created, where you can buy this, which I think that's always going to stay now, unfortunately. But there's a way to do it and not just throw so many things at your face. Like Call of Duty, I don't want to load in, and the first thing is an ad of go buy this bundle. Let me go find that if I want to. I understand what you're trying to do, but why don't you let me load into the game and then I have options to like start and play the game, and then you show it along the right side. You're not like forcing me to like watch it and then click it to hit next.
Yeah, it seems it's just like corporate greed at its finest when I see
Mhm.
that stuff, you know? Like I just bought your game, but they're like it's not enough.
Mhm.
Give us more, you know? That's what they want. And I don't ever, I don't buy into it, but it definitely cheapens the experience where I'm like these guys, like you should be thankful that I just bought the game, bro. Okay? Don't
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
be
yeah.
selling me more stuff.
Let me just play the game. The game that I just spent money on, I just want to play that.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, I'm thinking we were playing Split Fiction. If we load into the game, yeah, there are ads like on the right side of the developer, go check out these games, whatever. But that's how you do it though. It's not
Yeah.
thrown in our face right away. And then we can hit continue and then we load up right into the game.
Yeah, that to me is the perfect way to do it. And I agree with you. I do unfortunately think that they're not going to go back from this.
Hmm.
Just because I'm sure there's got to be some metrics to it as to how much money that generates, and how many people actually click on that stuff and buy it. But I think this whole idea of kind of going back to what it's been, and not trying to push all these weird bundles in your face all the time. I mean, if they're going to keep it like more towards I don't know, just like the flavor of what that Call of Duty is, more in line with the theme of it. I think that's at least a small step in the right direction. Um, but yeah, ideally, all that stuff would just be moved off to the screen in like the top right, or
Hmm.
like in all like the Modern Warfare 2 and 3, just have it as a message of the day and leave it there, like check out this latest bundle,
Hmm.
in the store or whatever. I wish it would go back to that, but it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
enough
And
PR.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm some of those I understand like those messages like if the developer's working on a new game, for example, or something, promote it,
Yeah,
sure, but don't force a promotion into my face to where I have to hit next to just get out of it. It this is where I'm like, okay, if they can do that, why can't they promote the CDL? Throw a message of the CDL in everyone's face
right.
and show it, or the way that we're talking about, let's load up into the menu and then have CDL stuff like along the side. You know, the matches that are going to be playing today, the schedule, um, maybe some highlights from the last match, something like that. That's just on the right side. It's not forcing you to click it, but if you want to go and learn more about it, you can do it.
Yeah, there's a way to keep the UI minimal and like, inoffensive, but still get its point across,
Yeah.
and
I want to
yeah,
have the choice as the player. I don't
right.
want power to the player. I don't want it thrown in my face. You're taking the power away from me.
Yeah, it's always annoying how you have to press X to continue, but then you have to follow up with about 5 more clicks in order to
Mhm.
actually get to play online or find match.
Yeah.
And even from that, it's like I go and I hit play on or I hit find match and I click on that, and then it brings me to my actual thing, and then I have to click. I'm like, "Bro, what?"
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, "If I click find match, I should be loading in immediately." When I
Mhm.
go and see those, they just say play online from MW2 and you click play online and then it's like, okay, you're in right now, dude. Like this is
Mhm.
your hub. Just go from there. It's very intuitive. It's very easy, very simple and clean. So it was nice to see that. I like the look of it too. The colors look good.
Mhm.
Which I know is maybe a dumb thing, but it just looks a bit refreshing because it's been a bit tiresome over the past however many years where we've had more or less the same UI.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it doesn't help the argument of COD's the same every single year. It's really hard to battle that when the UI looks the same, and then you release, you know, basically the same game back to back years. That does not help the case. Where I can argue all day long that yeah, it's different, but you have to play the game to understand that it's different. I feel like now, if you just look at the game, you can really, really say, all right, this is the same thing from last year. If you look at MW2 to MW3, it's really hard to even just justify saying that, you just have to pick up the game and play first to really
Right.
tell. And yeah, you do to understand that it is slightly a different game, but I feel like back in the day, you wouldn't really have to like justify that. You know that Black Ops 1 was different, MW3 was different, World at War was different, MW2 was different. You could tell by just looking at it.
Yeah, and looking at this game, it's nice to see, it just being a bit different already. Not like in the sense that they've done anything unbelievable, but to our discussion about the cycle of COD, how you'd have Treyarch, and then you have Sledgehammer, and then IW, and then, like you go to Raven or whoever. They've all got their different slant on the game and how they want it to be, and it should always stay that way because that really just leans into the argument of, well, this is a little bit different of a Call of Duty. And especially when you're going to be paying $70. Or when I just see the Vault Edition and it's $100, was God damn. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, you're gonna pre-order the Vault Edition. You're gonna pre-order $100. Like you haven't even seen fucking gameplay of this.
Yeah, yeah.
That just always it sends me. But it's a lot of money to be investing in something that you're not sure about,
Mhm.
and it's even harder to invest $100 or for us $70 into a game where you can't really tell the difference from last year to this year.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I think you can pre-order the game now, right? Yeah, you can pre-order the game now, and people have done it already. I mean, I'm still gonna pre-order, right? Because I want the beta and I want the early access, but
I don't need to right now.
oh yeah, I do it just feel like I hold on like out of the principle of seeing the gameplay at this
Yeah,
point
same.
where, you know, I know I'm going to play this game, but let me see the gameplay of it first. Let me see everything that they're giving me, then I'll pre-order it because there is advantages pre-ordering it obviously. The early access to campaign like that's actually valuable. I like that. I want that because I don't want to just buy the game and then play the campaign and I feel like I'm falling behind on multiplayer. So that's a big reason to pre-order it. Not an ad, by the way, guys. Like,
Yeah.
don't buy the game if you don't want to, but or wait until we play it and then we can help you guys decide. But yeah,
It's funny you do that because I do the same thing. Like, I know I'm gonna be playing MW4, but I don't wanna pre-order it right now. It's almost like I wanna get more excited about it when I see the
hmm
actual gameplay and be like, "Whoa, this is actually what it's going to be," you know? That's either when I make that call, I'll see it and be excited, or I might be like, all right," you know? But I
hmm
can't even think back to that, like, from previous CODs where I've looked at the gameplay of it and not been excited just because you don't really have your hands on it. And when
hmm
it's something's new, yeah, you get a bit more interested. But yeah, I don't want to pre-order it right now if you can. I like to just make sure and see actual gameplay, see multiplayer gameplay, and then I'll probably end up doing it. Well, I definitely will pre-order it.
yeah,
Um,
because I mean, you get stuff out of it. You get the campaign and you get the beta. But again, I want to see gameplay of it, so then I get excited about playing the beta.
yeah.
And I saw a TikTok of a dude responding to the MW4 trailer, and he was saying, "Boys, don't fall for it. Do not fall for this. COD does this every year. Don't fall for it because this is going to be the same exact thing, and you know you're going to go loan this game, and you're going to be disappointed in a couple of months." And I'm like, "You're not completely wrong about some of them, but this game might be different. You just never know. It's like gambling. You never know."
You take the chance. Every year,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
take
yeah,
the chance on Call of
yeah.
Duty because
But
you
e-
hate to
e-
be the year that you miss out and it's godlike.
Exactly. And even then, when we have an off year, we play way more COD than the like regular person.
Oh, yeah.
like through the year. Like regardless on our last recent years where we've played less, it's significantly more than the average person.
Yeah, I still put in the time on the games, even if I'm not really loving them, or it's just, going back to the beginning, getting old, and like, just can't game as much as we used to. But yeah, we still play them a good amount. It's not like the people that I feel bad for are those who bought Black Ops 7 and they're like still on my friends list, or people that maybe, I work with or however I know them and they're like level 39,
Mhm.
or
Well,
their
okay,
first prestige level
yeah,
12. I'm just like,
yeah.
damn, bro, you put in maybe like 12 hours. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you got hosed.
My argument to that is that they're not consistent enough. You
Yeah.
gotta get through the pain of it, even if you don't like it at times, you
You'll
know?
learn to like
And
it.
yeah, yeah. If you wanna get good, you have to do that. You have to grind through it. And yeah, I mean, people can make fun of that and say, "Well, you guys have this podcast." That is true. But I think at the end of the day, you and I would still be playing COD if we didn't do this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's funny because obviously launch day, every COD, people are hyped. People buy the game. You and I are like we grind a lot in the beginning, but like we know we're not at our max potential of grinding. And then some people go stupid hard for like the first month, and then they never play the game again. I'm like, so you paid $70 for the game, and you're like third prestige, and you just never touched it again. And that's where I think you and I are good about it because we're consistent with it, and maybe that's because we don't want to feel like we wasted $70 on a game and other people are okay with it, which I don't know how. I know there are plenty of people on my friends list that they'll buy a game for $70. They play it for the first week. They're like, nah. And then they're done with it. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Crazy to me that someone will do that.
Yeah, to me, that bothers me beyond belief because I've
Not
been
just
burned.
COD.
Yeah, I've been burned like that a
Just, yeah.
couple times and I hate it, but I know with Call of Duty, um, more often than not, and again, we always point for people who would listen for a while back in our Cold War era. I mean, that was the worst ever because we were so
Mhm.
excited for this game and we were so bad. We were just
Yeah.
like, and it was unbelievable because we're coming off of Black Ops 4. Like, we skipped 2019 and we're like, "Dude, we're good." Like, we know we're good at COD.
Mhm.
And going to that, it was hard. A lot of people, they don't grit through it, Justin. They're just like,
Yeah,
"No,
they don't.
this game sucks. This game sucks." We're like,
Mhm.
"There's no way." There's
Yeah.
like, "I
No,
don't
yeah.
care if it sucks. I'm gonna be good at this game. I may not
Mhm.
be peak, like the
Yeah.
prime I've ever been, but I will be good at this game." And I remember even with Black Ops 7, at first I was not that good at it. Um, but thinking now many months later, like, am I the best I could be at this game? No, of course not. Like, I always be better at them, but I'm way more satisfied with how I am now. Where I'm like, yeah, I can finesse people in this game. I've got the movement down. I know what to do. I'm not making plays or doing things where I'm just like, bro, why did I do that? Or like, what's my problem? But yeah, you have to grit through it a bit. Only doing, 30 levels and playing for 5 hours, it's not gonna happen. You have
Mhm.
to do a lot more than that. You're gonna put in days in order
Yeah,
to
yeah.
start seeing some progress.
And it always happens where you and I and then a couple other people are grinding through, the first couple of days, then it's just us 2.
We play
Everyone
alone.
else just stops playing. Everyone else stops playing. I mean, I can think of people right now, you know who I'm talking about,
Yep,
and he
yep,
loves Call of Duty, but then just stops. Just
mhm,
just gone. I'm like,
yep.
I get stuff, happens, but like what the heck happened? Like you spent $70 on this game. Like you okay, yeah, you don't need to grind every single day, but don't you want to get your money's worth? To your point, imagine getting to level 30 and then you just call it.
Yeah, I think, and I know you do too. It's not like I'm tracking this or anything like that, but I think about a game and I'm like, okay, if it's $70 and I'm only playing for, 7 hours, yeah, is this game worth $10 an hour? No way. Like, there's
Mhm.
no chance. I have to put in way more time. I want to stretch that, you know, dollar per hour rate to be insane. So
Mhm.
that way I know when I played this game, like even with Black Ops 7, it's like I haven't played this COD as much as I did with Black Ops 6, but I still know, like looking at the time, I'm like, oh yeah, like I've still put in time on this and I'm still okay. Um, it would be a different story if, yeah, you only played for 10 hours and thinking, yeah, was that 10 hours of gameplay worth the $70? For me,
Mhm.
there's like no game unless it's the most linear game of all time, and even 10 hours for a $70 game, 12 hours is just it's not enough. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and that's where I mean, the story has to be insane
oh yeah.
for it to be that good. It has to be, like, godlike
Yeah.
for it to be worth it, and, I mean, there just aren't many games like that anymore. I mean, going back, Split Fiction, you and I have been playing that. I mean, I don't know how many hours we put into that, but that game was what, 40 bucks, 50 bucks?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and we got to split it. You don't even need 2 copies. So, we only paid $20 to $25 each for a game that's, I would say, easily over 10 hours of gameplay that you and I have, like, done so far.
Yeah. And
So, it's
that's
worth
a
it.
good
And
game.
that game, yeah, that game, story's fantastic. You guys want a good co-op game? Go play those games. It Takes Two, Split Fiction, and then A Way Out. Or yeah, it's called A Way Out or No Way Out.
I
A
think
Way
a
Out.
way out. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. You have to have a fantastic story. Imagine paying $70 for a COD. The campaign is realistically, you could probably get it done between like 6 to 8 hours, and then you go do like 30 levels of multiplayer, and then you're done.
Yeah, I mean, you just barely scratch the surface of it,
Yeah, yeah.
and what's available to it. And that's why even with like a lot of open world games, I'm always tough with it because there's some I know if I'm going to get into it, like Red Dead. I mean, I've got
Mhm,
so many hours on that game. That $70 got stretched big time, and it's worth it. And that's the argument with GTA 6, where people are always talking about that because we don't have to talk much about it, but people are. It's rumored that we're going to be getting more info with this state of play that's going on. They've got it like for Xbox and PlayStation and the Summer Games Fest. Like we'll talk about it next episode to see if we get anything from it regarding it. But the argument of that game being $100, people are not up in arms about that because they just know that this is a game that putting 100 hours into it, $1 per hour is like that's going to be so easy to put
mhm,
100 hours into GTA 6. It's like, yeah, dude, that's light work. People are going to be
mhm.
putting in, and I'm sure even with GTA 5, there's of course people out there who legit probably have, well over 1,000 hours into that game. Easy.
Oh, easy. Yeah,
Over,
yeah,
yeah, thousands,
yeah.
because the game's been out for so long. Like, you don't really think about that price tag anymore when you use it so much and
Mhm.
you've put so much time into it.
And you're just having fun
Yeah.
on top of that. Like, yeah, I have 120 hours in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. 120 hours, and that game came out in 20 18 or something. 19, I don't know, something like that. But it's an old game, older. Uh, so
2020.
2020, 6 year
6 years
game.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean those. I definitely got my money's worth from that game, and I did
Yeah.
not get that game brand new. I mean, it's all those games, right? I mean, I'm gonna get my money's worth more in those open world Assassin's Creed than when I just paid for Mirage. Maybe. I
Right.
think I paid like 15 bucks for Mirage, so maybe I'll actually I don't know. I don't think I'll get 15 hours worth from that game, but
No, you might.
$2, we'll see. Maybe, maybe.
I'll have to go see how long it is, but yeah, I mean, like going back with all this stuff because getting like the amount of or a good amount of gameplay and time into it, if you're going to spend that money is really what everyone's after. I mean, everyone should be after that if you're going to be a gamer, in my opinion. I think you need to really it's a good way to think about games. And Call of Duty just has not been in that conversation. Most people would just say that yeah, the quality and what they're putting in, and for a lot of people who are in that situation where they just barely play it, yeah, it's hard to justify spending $70. But that's why I'm glad this year, we're having a new developer go and make the game instead of Treyarch Round 3. Like that would just be hell on earth. No one would be excited for that. Um, it breathes some fresh air into it. and I think it gets people a bit more excited, or at least more interested in maybe purchasing the game if they're on the fence about it. You know, you and I, of course, we're going to play it, and we just know ourselves. We've played COD for over 10 years. So putting in the time to get that, stretch the dollar, we're going to just play it anyway and have fun and talk about it. But for the people who have been on the fence or on the outside of Call of Duty, this change up is definitely a good thing for them. And I think there's going to be people that come back for it because they're hearing some of the changes that they're making.
Mhm.
But also it just really, it is a lot different than what we've had from Black Ops 7, just visually and like,
Mhm.
you know, the theme alone.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously, once we hear more about gameplay and other stuff, we'll be talking about that. And I mean, I also heard that the leadership over at IW, the group is different. So, I mean, that helps out a lot, right? I mean, pros, not just pros, people that were invited to play the game early, they even said this the IW team is completely new
Yep.
and they're asking for feedback. Granted, they could have been like bullshitting, but at least they're asking for feedback. You know what I mean? I think if people ask for feedback, they would actually want it. Might just be naive of me, but um, I think that's a good sign, right? And if it's a whole new team, that also, you know, talks to your point of, oh shit, we can't go back to back years of bad CODs. The pressure is a bit on. Why would you just bring like a whole new team in for this? So, and speaking of like the pros that did get invited to play, all the pros have for the most part said good things about MW4 so far. Minus some of them have said that they're not going to say anything until they play the game, which totally fair. I respect that. Um, but with the current game, Black Ops 7, we came back from the major. Now we had the first week of matches, and honestly, there are a lot of roster changes. Some of the roster changes were good, some of them weren't. I will say that our boys at Boston, they're happy. They're actually smiling. They won back to back. I wouldn't say it's anything crazy, but at least they're winning.
Yeah, they beat the 2 worst teams,
Yeah,
which is good.
yeah,
Those are teams that if we lost to, we're talking about Surge and Cloud9, if we lost to those, I mean, I might have to take that jersey down. I mean, it it would have been like, so it's nice to see that we can at least beat those guys.
Mhm.
So we're not in the completely shit pile. Um, but yeah, with them, we're gonna have to see. I don't even know who would really be like the next team up that's not bad, but not that bad. You know?
G2.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it
G2.
would be G2, but G2 right now with their roster, like they look really good.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. But I mean, like standing wise,
Yeah, standing
G
wise, yeah.
G2. I mean, just the even Miami at this point, I would say they're middle pack too.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Probably Carolina,
Yeah.
that could probably be another one that you throw in there. Yeah, because we were right with our predictions in the last episode regarding these teams that didn't make the changes, that they probably were going to regret it. And after the Miami game, after the search and destroy, you could see on some of their faces, yeah, there's some regret there. I think
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
I think those teams, I mean, they all those ones that we talked about was Toronto. They lost 3-0 to Carolina. Miami lost. Granted, they played Optic, but they looked horrible.
Mhm.
And then what was the other team that didn't make a change? If there was another one, I can't remember. But those 2 teams definitely, I mean, they look rough. And
Mhm.
I think they're regretting the fact that a lot of these teams took advantage of the time to snag somebody else. And yeah, they're screwed. I mean,
Mhm.
point
Well,
blank,
I
they're
mean,
screwed, those teams right now.
the thing is, these two teams that let's specifically Toronto, right? They were rumored to get nasty. That obviously fell through. Did not happen.
Mhm.
But I think as soon as you start having those discussions of a possible roster change to your team, I mean, right, everybody would imagine that Insight's going to be the one getting dropped if Nasty's coming in, right?
Yeah.
That just chalks the whole vibe up in that camp immediately. because you're just thinking in your head, all right, they want to get rid of me. And that fell through. And your other teammates were probably excited to an extent to get another teammate and maybe have a chance. Didn't happen. And now they're upset. They have to play through the game. You're pissed because you know you're getting dropped. And now you got to play with the three teammates and like pretend they didn't want to drop you. Um, it's just an awful situation. And then Miami, they have it's like the same thing, but they have Real on the bench, which I'm assuming Real is going to come in at some point now. But yeah, those two teams, it's just shocked when you start talking about a roster change. But then you look at Falcons. Falcons tried making a roster change, and they're like, "No, fuck this. This makes no sense. Why would we ever try to make a roster change with the players that we have?" And then Xnid looks like the best player in the game on their team.
Right.
Sal is their worst player.
Yeah, which is wild to say that, because this has just been a really odd year for him,
Mhm,
on so many levels. But it's also been his worst year performing, no doubt, in the
mhm,
CDL. I would say, like, even beyond the CDL, just like even during Black Ops 4,
mhm,
it's his worst year. And yeah, I that's a unique situation and that those guys were able to pull it together. Um, I think some of it too is just because, those guys are like mega professionals and they've won, not necessarily together, but they know what it takes to win and they must believe that they have that team to do it. Whereas the guys in like Miami, no one on there has a championship. And they have like another
Oh,
piece of the
no,
puzzle where,
Metals does technically
oh, what did he win? What was it?
from MW19 when Miami or the Florida Mutineers.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
That's a championship. Those are
sure.
championships.
Yeah, I'll count it, I'll count it. But I think their situation too and, like, what they're able to do, and especially on this game, is a bit different because they look like they've regressed so much, and I don't know if bringing in, Real at this point is really going to make that team that much better. I don't know if he's the puzzle piece that they need, but he is the only one that they've got.
Mhm,
Uh So yeah, what do you really do? Like, are you gonna go and get rid of Trakes? Like, or like, what do you and I don't know. It's just a very odd situation for them that they've put themselves in. But yeah, whether they make a move or not, I don't know. I think they've got to do something though, unless they're content with just riding this out and more than likely going to place poorly again at Major Four. Um, it's not good, and yeah, I had to check, yeah, they lost, game 5 to Falcons and then played Optics, so going
mhm.
0-2 after, a disappointing Major 3 for them is not a good start.
Yeah, well, and I mean with them too, and every other team, right? These rosters are locked for
Yeah,
champs. So whatever team that you have now and players on your bench, that's all you got. And in Miami's case, they probably need a two-person change because I don't think if you get rid of Triggs for Real, I don't think that does anything. If you get rid of Super for Real, I think that's a more logical answer. Or you get
yeah.
rid of Metals for Real, like it doesn't really do anything. We don't know, and I that's the only option that they really have at this point to just bring Real in for someone and then just try and see what happens.
Yeah, like they're kind of screwed either way as to what they do. And then with Toronto, yeah, I think that team is kind of compromised because
Yeah,
of
they can't do
how
anything.
everything went down. Yeah, there's really nothing that they can do. The other teams that ended up making roster changes, like with Cloud9. I mean, I don't really know with the new kid as to how good he is.
Weather's
It,
fucking
it,
good.
it yeah, I have to go watch it again.
He's good.
Honestly, yeah, I want to go see. And this is part of what was the good side of bringing in some of these people. And same thing with Standy. Standy in his first match, he looked pretty good.
Mhm.
And they especially looked good 3-0 Toronto. Um, but yeah, I think those teams, you know, they're not really going to be moving the needle much as a team. I feel. I think individually, they're really just going to be playing for themselves and like their ability. Um, I think that's kind of the main thing that we're going to be seeing with some of those teams at the bottom that do it now with G2 and with Gentlemates, mainly being the big changes. those teams have their ups and downs. I think G2 definitely looks a lot better. Um, and Gentlemates, uh, Estoril looks really good. I mean, he
Yeah.
looks good, but the rest of the team don't.
Yeah.
Like, so they're in like a good and bad situation. They got a guy who's good and it can help them, but uh is he like the piece that they needed, to be that much better? Is he the Neum?
Mhm.
No, we're not seeing it right now.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and G2, I mean, they won. It was nice seeing Envoy and Nasty, like, there's a screenshot of them. They were like they won, they looked at each other smiling. I'm like, they both made it out, but
Yeah.
well, Nasty really made it out. Envoy, he already won a chip this year, so it's not even, like, anything crazy for him, but
Mhm.
I definitely can see G2 being, like, a dark horse team now and, like, making that run,
Yes.
and man, would that be awesome to see at the next major in Paris. That that would be sick to see Envoy go against his whole team and
Yeah.
possibly making like top 3 or something because that team has potential now. It has like a lot of potential. I think a lot of it relies on Envoy. He just has to play well, but I think that team can do something.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's everyone's favorite dark horse team right now, and that's everyone's favorite matchup is they want to see the rival match between Envoy and Gentlemates. Um, I think I think they will do well. I hope they do well. I'm rooting for that team. Obviously, anybody that was formerly on the Boston camp, and I mean they got what Nasty on there, and they got Kremp.
Mhm.
So half the team is former Breach people, so always gonna cheer it on. Gonna cry because we could have had those fucking guys on our team, but we
Oh,
don't.
wow. Imagine if Nasty wins. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's really
we're
Boston's
we're
just a
cursed.
problem,
Yeah, cursed. Um, but no, that was definitely the main thing to see from this. From my view, it was good to see that they made this decision and it was the right decision. They look a lot better. And then at the top, Optic still looks good. I don't really want to read much into them because they
There's
always
nothing
look
really
good.
to say. They
Yeah, they always look good, but it's just gonna come to showing up on land. And then Thieves when they played FaZe, that was a really good matchup. Close one.
Mhm.
Revealed some holes for sure with FaZe, but yeah, Thieves still looking good from their major win, which is always a nice sign. Because most teams end up regressing a little bit. They take their foot off the gas, but it seems like they maybe have caught some momentum and they're looking really good. So I don't know. We may see Thieves like, you know, in a new form here where they're always going to be on top,
Mhm.
which would be nice instead of having it just be Optic or Phase. I want to see Thieves in there too.
Mhm. Well, I mean, if we go into major 4, we've had a different champion every major so far. So I mean, I think it's Optic's time to shine at this major if everything's right because they've made every single final. So I honestly I expect the same exact thing. They're going to make a final and this could be the one. If it's not, that's just so unfortunate for those guys. And people are probably going to say you got to drop Merc, which
Hmm.
no, if you play second every single time, no, you don't need to necessarily make a change. So like something happened, you
Yeah,
know.
they've got a couple of shots here. They got Major Four, they got COD Champs, and they got EWC. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
they,
yeah.
I think personally, they need to win one of those
Hmm.
for that team to still be in a good morale or
Hmm.
have
Oh
good
yeah,
morale.
yeah. Good morale, yeah, for sure. But I mean, if you just look back at the other majors, like some shit happened. Besides the last one, they actually just they didn't play well in the
Yeah,
finals. The other ones, I mean, freaking '04 had a legacy game. And I mean, and then Neptune had freaking insane legacy game for Major One. So um, we'll see. But not an ad, but I will say shout out to all the COD players because my prize picks fucking hit. It I like I don't you and I talk about like sports gambling. We don't really do it. I dabble in it, and by dabble I mean like my bets are like dollar bets. I don't put
yeah.
any money in because I know it can go downhill fast. So all the money that I've had in my account is just like free money that I've had. And I got down to my last dollar, dude. last dollar. I'm like,
Yeah.
if this doesn't hit, I'm not getting, not putting any more in until I get some free bets or whatever.
Mhm.
And I decided to throw it on baseball. Don't know anything about baseball, but like nothing. I picked these 3 random guys, hit.
Hell
I
yeah.
won $15, turned $1 to $15. And then over the weekend, I'm like, okay, I have some money to play around with now. $15. I can do like some 50-cent bets, $1 bets. Um, I turned that $15 into $150 over the weekend.
Damn, baby. Let's
Yeah.
go. Hell
So
yeah.
I'm like, I know ball, guys. I know COD. It should have been over 200, but fucking Neptune, man, I needed one more kill from him, and he choked, but it's all right. But yeah,
Dude.
shout out those guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, those are your favorite players now. God damn. Dude,
Yeah.
that's huge. The people listening, thinking, or hearing about your 50-cent bets and dollar bets, like, yeah,
Oh,
you're
they
being
don't.
legit.
They're not excited about that because the
No,
payouts are so small. But I'm just thinking, like, dude,
long game.
a dollar into 3. I just like $1 to 3. I just made 2 more bucks,
I mean, dude,
easy, and I didn't do anything.
again, it's all about the long game. There's
Yeah,
people
yeah,
in
yeah.
there, they go and they throw down $30, they lose, and
Oh
then they're
no,
like,
that's
"Nah, fuck this,"
stress.
you
I'm
know?
stressing. Yeah, or they're like, I need to double down to make that money back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
My
It's
double
like
down is all right. I can put $1 down if I made a 50-cent bet.
mhm. No, dude, that's sick. That's the way I prefer that way. I mean, you kind of taught me that when we go to any of the majors, when I would do that, that's usually how I like to roll too. Because it's
Yeah.
like you're a little interested, but you're not super invested that you're worried you're
Mhm.
gonna lose the money. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's a thrill of winning. It's not
Yeah,
yeah, the dollar amount is nice, but I mean like it's just nice when something hits.
yeah, and it reassures you're like, yeah, I know ball, I know
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It's not good when yeah, like, people just put, "Oh yeah, $20." I'm like, "Dude, $20? Dude, $20 is a lot of money
Yeah,
for
dude.
that's the whole meal."
You know how many McChickens that is, bro?
Yeah, McChickens, you can get a lot with $20 still.
Or you
And
get like 5 now with the
yeah,
price.
yeah. But dude, I don't understand some of these people. I've seen them put, oh yeah, I'll throw $20 down. And I'm thinking, dude, $20, this is a 10-minute match at most.
Mhm.
And then you just lose it. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's gone. I
No,
can't
dude.
believe that.
If you're at the venue, you could have bought a drink with that money, you know, but
Easily. Yeah,
instead
yeah,
you
yeah.
legit burned it.
Yeah, $20. They just see the payout, man. The odds. I get it. Trust me. $20, you see a $300 payout. It's like, yeah, but I see $20. That's 20 bets.
Mhm. Right.
So,
And the
um,
potential over it.
yeah. But people look at Zuma and these other guys. I'm like, they're in a different like tax bracket than like all of us, bro.
And
Zuma's a
they're also
yeah,
streamers,
yeah, yeah. Zuma's also he's about to hit 6 figures of winnings.
which is
Like
crazy.
that's crazy. But think about how much he's lost.
Oh, yeah.
So, like
Yeah.
yeah, like he's a dude that can bet like $100 hands, which is insane.
Yeah. But and it's the same thing with Nate Shot. It's like the stuff that he's gotten from CS cases and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Oh
dude,
yeah, yeah.
but at what cost?
Caught his rookie numbers, and then yeah, when you're sitting in Nade streams and he's playing like poker or whatever, I'm like, dude, holy
Yeah.
shit.
That's another realm. Thank God
Different
we're not in
realm.
it though. We'll stick to the 50-cent heads, dollar
Yeah,
dollar
yeah,
bets. We'll call
yeah,
it that. Still a
yeah.
thrill.
We just like to win.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter
exactly.
how much. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think we covered everything. With MW4, excited about that.
Mhm.
Um, we'll talk about if anything comes out of the state of play for PlayStation. If GTA 6, any more news or any more Call of Duty news, imagine. Um, and yeah, some
Let's
CDL
go.
stuff. What watch? By the time you guys listen to this, I'm pretty sure the second minor will be happening, which I'm excited about because we just like those tournament, settings again. So
Yep.
Boston Breach will not be winning,
Hey, we got a
but
new team. We gotta be
I,
hopeful.
yeah, yeah, that's true. We got TJ. TJ's a guy that's just gonna save us, apparently.
He could be the legacy savior. He could be our discount version of the legacy
Maybe,
savior.
yeah, yeah. um, but yeah, I mean, guys, if you're on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know down below what you think of MW4 so far and the movement and the news. If you like it, you hate it, whatever. Also, make sure to join the Discord. I'll leave that down below. Everybody's always in there talking about, especially now, MW4. So definitely go down there and join and come have a conversation with us. But we're also on anchor.fm/the COD Casuals, where we're on all streaming platforms, Google Podcasts, or Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. And make sure to go follow our TikTok and Instagram, because we cut them up and put them all over there if you don't want to listen to the whole thing. And 5-star rating on everything, especially Spotify, and follow us, because we're getting close to that 1K mark. So we appreciate you guys if you hit that follow.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's everything.
That's it, man.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. This has been episode 277 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.